even if they are, even if they have some health issue, they know how to tackle. So basically, we humans have developed so well medically and technologically, but still we are not able to find out many root causes of many health issues. First of all, any health issue, whatever we are facing, is basically we are not in harmony with the nature. In whatever we are leading our lifestyle, or whatever food we are eating, it's completely not natural, which we were designed for. So unfortunately, this is the thing which is happening. Even if we have to accept it. But if we see our forefathers, though they were leading a life not completely natural to the environment, like what they have to eat and all, but still they were healthy. They were introduced cooking in very long back. Cooking was introduced, so still they were healthy. So in the modern times, what's happening? There is a lot of pollution. Basically, this body is made up of 5 elements. So all of these organs, if you divide, they are into cellular level and microbial level. If you see, every cell needs that nourishment. So whatever cell takes the input, it will utilize for its energy requirements, and it will eliminate the waste, whatever is generated, and those has to be eliminated by the system. So ultimate purpose of this birth is to be in harmony and express our capabilities and be in harmony with the nature and with the fellow beings. But now what's happening is we are not able to lead a proper life here. Whatever we are earning, we are spending a lot of money on in the back of health. I would request someone to please switch on the cameras. I can't just talk on air. I need to see people, then I can talk comfortably. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So why we are having these health issues? The toxins which are being created by the food we are eating, the pollution which we are facing, not just these toxins. Apart from these toxins, there are many internal toxins which are generated when we are emotionally suppressing our emotions. Then also toxins are generated. When the emotions are not handled well, toxins are generated. Then we are not following right cooking methods. When the body is not able to digest well, then the toxins are generated. So these toxins are called as ama in Ayurveda. So any toxins, any food which is not eliminated from our system after absorption, then that will become a toxin. The food which we are eating is not just from the mouth. Whatever we see, hear, smell, taste, put on the skin, think, these all are inputs for the body, inputs for the soul. So we are not just this physical body. We are made up of these 5 koshas. So we need to nourish this 5 koshas equally. Only with food, we cannot be nourished completely. So we need right environment, we need right companionship, we need right air, good quality of air, water, of course, right food as well. So unfortunately, we have not been eating right. Excuse me. So what we are designed to. So by nature, human beings are designed to consume fruits. We are fruitarians by nature. From the time we discovered fire, and from the time we started cooking our food, we started getting many health issues. But our previous ancestors, though they were eating cooked food, they were following certain norms. They were following certain cooking methods. So they were having that knowledge, that wisdom, like why they were doing it. So for that reason, they didn't have to face much health issues. But now in the modern times, we see many health issues. To name a few, we treat cold, cough, even fever as an imbalance in the body. as a disease, not just an imbalance. We treat them as a disease. So what we normally do for cold, cough, or some throat irritation or some fever, immediately we seek for some medical help. So we don't give rest for the body. So first of all, we have to understand all these are the symptoms of the body to detox. If there are some toxic inputs or undigested inputs, suppose we are using like there is a lot of over usage of mobile phones. So when the body, we are not giving time for the body to assimilate and eliminate these unnecessary inputs. So at that time, when these inputs are accumulated inside, that becomes a toxin, and the body will try to release that toxin through phlegm, or it causes some vata imbalance. If you see all these mobile communications, any communication basically rely on vata. It's relied on air. It will transmit and communicate. Like communication all will happen with air element. So when we are catching the mobile phone, there'll be a lot of vata accumulation in our hands. Many of you might have noticed there'll be a lot of pain in the joints. And when you keep the phone, there'll be a lot of pain near the ears. We feel irritated. But we are so involved in using the mobile phones that even gadgets, that we are not overseeing all these minute things which the body is indicating. So if we use negligibly, sensibly, then yes, it will not cause much problem. But unfortunately, we are not conscious with our body. So it's very important to be conscious with our body language or body signals, and then we have to react accordingly. So now in these inputs, coming to food, we have been eating food. Sorry. So, excuse me. Can you give me a minute?
Sure, sir. Just want to take this opportunity just to tell everyone, if you have any questions, you can please ask them in the chat box. And so we'll take them all at the Q&A session towards the end. Yeah, so just give us 1 minute while we just come back with this talk. And if anyone can if everyone can turn on their cameras, that would be great. It helps the speaker be more comfortable on camera. So yeah, that would be nice. Yes, this is being recorded. I can share. It is also being live streamed. I can just share the link with you.
Yeah, sorry. So by nature, we are meant to eat fruits. If you see, there are some bananas in front of me. So these fruits basically are a womb for the mother tree. So there'll be a bunch of bananas stacking line around for that bunch. Now these are the wombs basically for that mother tree, which is nourishing the seeds inside. So now when the fruit is matured, when the fruit is ready to, when the seed is matured, basically when the seed is ready, then the fruit gets detached. So now if you see, this is like an umbilical cord. So it's still green. Okay. Normally we tend to eat this fruit. We think that this is ripe. Okay. So when we open up this fruit, you can hear a tear sound. Okay. It took a lot of time and a lot of pressure for me to pull this fruit. Now there is this fruit. It came out easily. It didn't took much effort for me to pull it. Okay. It has come easily. So this is an indication of its ripeness. There'll be dots for the bananas. Unfortunately, these bananas, whatever we are getting, are mostly chemically ripened, artificially ripened. Only few people, like even in organic market also, in the name of organic also, if you understand, ripening also should be natural. So naturally, it will take time for the fruit to get ripened, when you harvest on time, then it will ripe naturally on time. So we have to give time for the fruit to form itself and then harvest on time. So when we eat a fruit which is not completely ripened, then this will cause definitely some health issue like diabetes or acidity or indigestion or bloating, obesity. So it's very important for you all to understand selecting a fruit. So a farmer or a supplier cannot supply you a fruit which is ready to be consumed. So if that is the situation, then like he has to pluck on time. So if he has to pluck on time, by the time it will come and reach you, it will spoil. So for that situation, for that reason, what we have to do at our end is just wait for the fruit to get ripened. So when we have to plan to buy our fruits. So when we take a bunch of fruits like this, just this will be ripening. It will, for ripening these fruits, it will take more than 4 days. So we have to see whenever the fruit gets ripened, just pull and see whether it's coming out easily. So like that, you have to stock your fruits, whatever it may be. Like suppose apple. So though apple is not a season, but we are getting apples throughout the year. So first of all, we have to prefer local fruits, local to our region, local to our climatic condition. So if you see, nature has designed fruits according to season. So whatever food you consume, the food will turn into sapta dhatus, chyle, blood, muscle, then fat, bone, bone marrow, seminal fluids, and then ojas, stages, and prana. So basically, the food which we consume will convert into ojas, stages, and prana. That is the energy which is interchangeable according to the body's requirement. So for this to happen, it will take around 40 days, depending on the food you are consuming. So the food which you are consuming now in this season, it will help you to give resistance for the future season. So for that reason, if you see watermelons, muskmelon, all the melon categories of fruits will come before summer. By the summer, the season will be over. So mangoes, especially, most of the people try to consume mangoes in summer. But actually, mangoes are the season of late summer, like post summer. So hardly like in region to region, again, it will vary. So if I say in Telangana region, the mangoes season is ideally June, July. We get till August sometimes. So if you are in the Bangalore region, so it will be maybe 15 or 1 month before. But if you go to Punjab, northern region, ideal time for the mangoes is July, August or August, September, if you go to higher altitudes. So there in temperate region, like from September, you will get the apple. That is the season for the apple. So unfortunately, we pre-harvest very early and we ripen artificially. And if you see this apple, it's not coming. Again, the stack is not coming. It took, but still it's not breaking. Its stack is still there. So the tree is still holding. It is having that notion. It will never, fruit will never think, that tree will never think that I have to feed you. So it is basic consciousness of a tree is to nourish the seed so that the seeds will propagate. We are becoming a medium for that tree to propagate that seed. So we are being gifted by nature to consume these fruits to fulfill our energy requirements. So like that, we have to wait for the fruit to get ripened. Next is local, consuming local fruits are very important, as I said. Then ripening, local, and seasonal. These are the very priority things. Now, which part of the fruit to be consumed? Suppose this apple is organic, then people may consume the skin, but actually any fruit skin is there to protect the fruit and seed inside. No skin of a fruit or a vegetable is actually meant for us. Then you may say there is a lot of nutrition in the skin. What about it? So if there is no nutrition on the skin, how will that there is life in it? So there should be some energy medium to protect that fruit and a seed inside. So definitely it will have nutrition, no doubt. But that skin part is not meant for us. It may be guava, it may be any fruit, basically, even grapes. So how to know this? Which part of the fruit is suitable for us? if you see a child, infant, unconditioned, like if you don't condition him to eat anything, just give him fruits and see how he consumes. Suppose for 8 months old baby, when you start feeding them with fruits and other cooked food, you observe them. If you give grapes, he will suck the juice and he will keep that skin inside because he don't have that knowledge to remove that skin from the mouth. Maybe you may have to help. Or if he knows, he will spit it out. But he will not swallow that skin. He will keep in his mouth. So we are instinctively tuned to that natural thing, like which is meant for us, which is not meant for us. If you see a monkey, we are different from all the species, but little bit close to monkey. Even if you see monkey, it will remove that skin. It will not eat that skin. So no skin of the fruit is meant for us. You may ask now how to eat mulberry, how to eat guava. So while eating, like you can scrape the inside part of the fruit. Or while eating, there'll be, if you consciously eat, there'll be finer residue which will not, you cannot swallow it. So when you're consciously consuming, then you can make out there'll be some part of the fruit, even though you are eating with skin, it will not go inside. So that part can be discarded. So basically, whatever we are eating, it's forming rasa. Only the rasayana, like that essence of that fruit only is being absorbed. Remaining anyway, it's coming out. So basically, we need that essence of that fruit. So we need not worry about fibers now. So fruit has soluble fibers. We need not worry about more fibrous fruits. Any fruit will have soluble fibers. Now coming to vegetables, no root vegetables should be consumed raw. So unfortunately, we eat carrot, beetroot, radish, turnips raw, but we can't digest. Now you may say, I've been eating raw vegetables like carrot. I didn't had any problem since many years. Body is very sophisticated system. Definitely it will help us to digest whatever even hard and wrong food also we consume. It will definitely help us to digest. But at one point of time, it will give up when there is no potency, like it cannot do extra work for you to digest these hard things or complex things. At that time, it will give up. At that time, all the complications will start coming. So maybe there are few people who might have consumed raw sprouts or raw carrot or raw beetroot. Initially, they were comfortable, or initially body has indicated, but you have adopted slowly, but later at certain point of time, you may not be comfortable. So root vegetables are first of all not meant for us. It's not like every part of the nature is meant for human beings. Now you may say sattvic and natural, like all natural things are not meant for humans. There are only some part of the nature which is designed as a food for human beings. So there is an ecosystem to maintain this eco balance. Nature has designed a beautiful food chain. Like for one species waste will become other species food. So if you see, we inhale oxygen, exhale carbon dioxide. So trees will absorb carbon dioxide and give oxygen. So animals will eat the grass, give the poop. The poop will be eaten by other microorganisms or other species and convert into humus soil. And that is again turned into, given back to the trees, plants. And then the plants are sharing that nutrition again. How the plants are getting nutrients from the cosmos. If you see all the galaxy, Milky Way, whatever cosmic energies we have, those all energies are being radiated by sun and moon, masculine and feminine form of the sun and moon. So these energies are radiating all these cosmic energies. So through sun, we get the masculine energy, through moon, we get the feminine energy. So these are being absorbed by the plants. So metabolic activity will happen during the daytime. So sun is Navagrahadipati, even if you take the spiritual context part. So moon is Nakshatradipati. So now metabolism will happen with sun energy. Growth will happen with moon energy, feminine aspect. So now these energies are absorbed by the plants, and one plant cannot absorb all the nutrition. They have to share among each other. So whatever they are absorbing, they will exchange those nutrition from the neighboring plants. That's how they are staying in harmony. So in this ecosystem, even plants, birds, and other species are integrated. So that's how holistically a fruit, which is meant for us. Now in vegetables also, there are some fruit categories. So then we are consuming that fruit and we have to maintain that harmony. Now, in this system, we are seeing cow eating the grass. Now, if the grass is eaten away by the cow, then grass will die. That plant species will die. So to protect itself, what grass will do, it will release certain chemicals with which the cow feels that grass bitter. It can consume only 3 to 4 inches or 5 inches from top of the ground. But unfortunately, when we cut the grass and feed them, we give hard fibers to them. So even they will feel complex. If you give option for the cattle, they prefer to eat tender grass. If there is nothing, then it will eat dry grass. So the amount of time it will take to chew the grass. Okay, they are basically ruminants. Basically, they are grass eaters. We should never feed them grains or cooked food. Unfortunately, we feed them in the name of purity or bhakti. We feed them all grains and cooked food. It's not at all good. They can't digest, and they will get sick. So we have to feed them only grass. If you happen to feed them grains, then sprout them and grow into microgreens and then feed them. That way they will be comfortable to digest, but not grains. So the grass will be releasing certain chemicals with which the cow will feel that resistant and it will go forward. It will not come here for a certain period of time. So in that meantime, there'll be certain amount of grass varieties which will grow further and it will start yielding the seeds. So that seeds will be helping to propagate. Now for propagating of the seeds, birds are integrated. So other ants are integrated. Then squirrels are integrated. So now these birds, when they are consuming, now the grain has an intelligence. The seed's nature is to grow back into a plant. Now, if a bird is consuming the grain, how that seed will grow back into a plant? That seed consciousness is to grow back into a plant. It will not think that I have to become food. So now birds are helping to propagate that seeds. In turn, they are getting some seeds as food for them. Whichever seed has strong determination that I want to become a plant, that seed cannot be digested by the bird. So these seeds that protect to whatever determination I'm talking is the protective layers of that seed. Those are called as anti-nutrients. So these anti-nutrients like phytic acids are basically working like an enzyme, nutrition inhibitors for us. But for the seeds, they are protectors. So when the birds consume, they will absorb, they will digest all those seeds which are having less anti-nutrients, which are weak. The strongest seeds will come out. Again, they are helping in propagating that seeds like that. So if you see the survival of the fittest, this is what I'm talking about. Like whichever is strong, those only can survive. So even in animal species, if you see, the tiger cannot directly target an animal. It will just wait and observe their prey. Whichever animal is weak, it will target that. Weakness, not just physically, even mentally. It will observe which is fearful. The feared animal, definitely it will fall into prey. The brave animal, it will run, it will not turn back. The animal which is having fear, it will keep looking back whether the tiger is coming nearby or not. So when it turns back and forth, it will lose up its speed. When an animal focuses on just escaping, it will not turn back. So before only the tiger or a lion will see all this situation, whichever is physically weak or mentally weak, it will target that animal only and it will catch its prey. Because nature has designed whichever is strong has to survive, others has to evolve. Like that situation may make you stronger. Like that deer might, though it is weak mentally, because of that situation, it can become strong mentally also. So that situations will also enable a species to become strong. Similarly, in plant species, many plants get infested with virus or pest or some disease. So now a pest is actually invited by the plant itself. So when the plant is weak, it will think that my further generation will be weak. The seeds which are propagated or broadcasted, the plants which are coming from that seed will be weaker. So better I will turn into soil. So it will invite the pest. So what we do, we will put some pesticides and we try to eat that grain or a fruit. But plant's intelligence is, I am not suitable for further generation, for further growth. For that reason, I have to decompose. For that reason, it will take help of the pest. A strongest tree cannot, like strongest fruit, will not get infested with pest. Now, how the plant should be strong? When the soil is nourished well, when there is diversity, then the plant is nourished well. So for soil nourishment, if we have to again interfere, like suppose we grow mango orchard, mono orchard, then what happens? There is no diversity, there is no nutrition share. So the trees will depend on the external nutrition. We have to give nutrition back. And what we do is we start pruning the branches. When we prune the branches, the roots also get self-pruned. The roots will not penetrate deeper. Then it cannot get the nutrition from the deeper soil. So the plants will be weak. So it gets infested with pest, or it can get some disease. So this is very important. There should be diversity in your farm. You should not prune the leaves. Then how to harvest? Nature has designed a beautiful mechanism. Before the time of fruit, there will be a fall season. When the leaf falls down, it will form a nice cushion. So when the fruit falls down, it will not break. It will not pierce. No sand particles will pierce into the fruit. So that fruit will just, either you touch it, it will come, or if it falls down, you can just pick up and eat. So actually animals also are helping. Birds while eating, so because of movement, some ripe fruits will fall down. Monkeys, when they are eating fruits, while they are plucking, some will be falling down. So like that, we are very fortunate to get our share of food. And if you notice, when the tree is growing, the monkeys, especially sitting on the tree, it will not just sit, it will keep plucking the branches, the tender branches. Why? Because when the tree is growing straight, even for them, for the future generation of monkeys, they can't climb straight. So you need some steps. So when you're up, when you're pruning the tender branches, new shoots will come there, new branches will come there. So then it will be easy for the monkey to take steps. It's not thinking for it like intuitionally it's doing. It's not doing intentionally, intuitionally it's doing. So it's also helping us. So we can also design that way. So when you're growing your tree, I have seen a tree which is 80 years old. I could easily climb top of the tree up to 40 feet. I could climb the tree very easily. The tree was, I don't know whether it was naturally designed or human have designed like that. But for your trees also, when they are growing, when they are very tender, then you pluck the branch, allow them to take shape. Then in the future, you can climb the tree easily. So this is about cultivation practices. So when you have diversity, then pest will not get infested, and then the fruit also will be healthy. Yeah, if you are not eating on time, then it has to turn into soil because the seed has to grow into a plant. So for that reason, some pest will come and it will again decompose that fruit, and that seed will be turning into the soil, and then the new plant will come. So that is the cycle. Now coming to grains, we have been eating grains since long. But our forefathers, to eliminate these anti-nutrients, they were soaking the grains, sprouting them. By soaking and sprouting, you are eliminating the anti-nutrients. Otherwise, it will obstruct the nutrition absorption in our body, and it will interfere in our health. So for that reason, they used to soak the grain and sprout them and cook them and separate that starch, ferment that starch and consume. So if you're making roti, they used to make sardows. It's called as Khamiri roti in North. Still, northern regions have that practice of making fermented rotis. So in Western culture, they called sourdough breads. Then if you are cooking rice varieties, then you have to separate that starch and ferment that starch and consume. So now, because of our modernization, we have a lot of machineries, lot of refining things. So we have been eating white refined grains since long time. But unfortunately, when you are eating refined grains, you are not getting any B vitamins because most of the B vitamins will be in the fibers. But if you eat fibers a lot, then you can't digest that fibers. It will create a fiber menace. So what we are supposed to do is, like traditionally what they used to do, they used to sprout the paddy and then they used to dry it, sun dry it and pound it, remove the husk, and then use that grain to cooking. So by sprouting, all the B vitamins will be turning back into the endosperm. So at that time, you do not have any fiber. Mild fiber is fine. So because of modernization and parboiled rice, even in parboiled rice, olden days, they used to sprout, steam, and then dry and then cook. Dry and store it, remove the husk and store it. Then they used to cook. So they used to steam and then dry them. Or else, if it is normal rice, they used to just sprout them and dry them. So that was the method they used to follow. Even in legumes, whole tur, moong, they used to sprout activate. If you sprout the legume, then it will not cook soft. So they didn't allow that sprout to come out. So before the sprout come, like they used to just wake up that sprout and then dry them and properly sun dry them. If the sun is not favorable, they used to roast and then split the dal. Then they used to remove that fiber. So that's how the saponins which are there in legumes, otherwise it will cause a lot of gastric issues, they used to eliminate. Even though they used to follow all this process, still they used to take 4 to 5 hours of cooking time for cook the dal. They used to remove the foam while cooking the dal. But unfortunately, in the modern time, we have been using pressure cooker. We are not removing these saponins. That is the cause for gastric issues. And no one is telling that gastric issues. One reason is because of this dal. So if you can remove your pressure cooker from your kitchen, you can solve your 90% of your gastric issues by removing, by cooking your dal, legumes in open pot and removing the foam. That is very important. So then salt. Many people, no one can actually stay without salt. But unfortunately, salt is not getting digested because of poor gut microbes. Why we have poor gut microbes, why we have B12 deficiencies, even people who are eating non-vegetarian food, they have poor gut. The reason behind poor gut in the modern time is these gadgets. The mobile phone which we are using, the LED lights which we are getting exposed to, because of all these, not going outside, not spending time in nature, sun and with trees and with soil. So we are depleting whatever microorganisms which are developed inside. We are utilizing them, but we are not recharging them. So when we are not replenishing back, then there is a deficit. So for that reason, when we are not replenishing those microbial activity, then the food which we are eating is already complex and we have less microbial activity. So that is not getting absorbed in our body. So B12 deficiency is mainly because of these gadgets and not spending time with nature and not eating raw food, not eating lively food. Basically, when we cook the food, it loses its prana. It loses its vitality. Nutrition wise, yes, it may have nutrition, but vitality wise, it will not have that vitality. So if you keep in the refrigerator, nutrition wise, yes, you may have, but there is no prana, like it will reduce. It will be like the fruit which is kept in the refrigerator or a vegetable, if it is kept in the refrigerator, it may look fresh, but the moment you bring it out, it will degrade very fast. But a vegetable which is kept outside, it may just wither a bit, but it will not completely deteriorate. It will stay for a few days. But if you make a pot-in-pot refrigerator, like there is a simple concept. You have to take one bigger pot and one smaller pot. And in between, you have to add cocoa peat or sand also and keep it moist. But cocoa peat will hold the moisture. Sand will not hold the moisture. It will just stay. The water will just stay. So coco peat will hold the moisture. So even in peak summer, you can store, like I have that small setup in my house. So I could store my vegetables even in summer for 1 week or 10 days fresh. Like that, we can avoid all the refrigerated foods. Then we can't avoid gas. So gas is causing a lot of methane emissions. It will cause nitrogen oxide. When the methane is burned, then it will cause nitrogen dioxide or nitric oxide, which is very harmful for the environment. So now we have been inhaling all these gases. That is weakening our lungs. And we are not exposing to nature, soil, and plants. That is causing more problem. So now how to avoid gas? We can't just switch to firewood stove. Firewood stove also, it will cause smoke, and that will also cause lung congestions. So ideally, if you take dry wood, it will not create smoke. Smoke will be caused with moist wood. So in olden days, see how ethically they were living. They used to go to deep forest. They used to collect the dry branches, or they used to cut the tree of a dead branch, or else they will never cut the fresh tree. They used to, like, many religious notions have been attached to these things. So ethically also, if they are cutting down the fresh tree, then it will not grow further. It will stop its growth. So for that reason, one benefit is they can burn the fuel easily. Later on, we started losing that practice and we started adopting to cut the fresh trees wood and dry it. It will not dry properly because drying the of the firewood will take longer time. So that will cause smoke. Then we invented some exhaust for the chula and other designs we have adopted, fine. But still it will create some carbon monoxide and some toxic gases. So there is a way to use a fuel also. And fuel calorific value is 1200 calories, kilocalories, but gas is 12,000 kilocalories. So the amount of time you are keeping the food on the gas, it will, the food is exposed to so much intensity of that calorific value, and it will be losing that life. Now we can't eat uncooked food, like suppose grains, we can't just eat raw. Carrot, as I said, we can't eat raw, but cooked carrot, yes, we can eat, but there is no prana. When we are cooking, there is less prana. Now, how to make a juice? Maybe juicing will be helpful. So now if you have to drink 1 glass of carrot juice, you need at least 6 to 8 carrots. So to eat 1 carrot, it will take at least 5 to 10 minutes. To eat 6 carrots, it will take at least 40 to 50 minutes. Now, 1 glass of carrot juice, you will gulp in a minute. So you are creating so much load for your system. So initially, because the body is sophisticated, it will digest, but later on it will cause problem. So you need to understand. Now, what is the way? You can add some lemon juice. It will break down the complex molecules. Then you have to sip the juice. Add some greens or dilute with water. Add greens like cucumber or ash cod or rich cod. Then it will dilute and that will be absorbing for you. For any greens or for any roots, you need to add some citric juice. It may be apple or lemon or orange. That combination, then it will digest better. Now, even though I'm telling a better way of consuming juice, you will definitely use a mixer, which will create a centrifugal force. Again, that will denature the properties of the food or the juice. Then there is other alternative called cold press juicer. Now, cold press juicer are completely plastic body. If you see your cutting board, when you keep like old cutting board, there will be some erosion. Where is that all plastic is going? So it's getting eroded. It's going in our stomach. So even if you see your cold press juicer, initially it will be very smooth, but later over prolonged use, there will be roughage. That surface is not smooth. It will erode. So that is actually leaching out. Now, what is the way? There are ways to make cold press juices by mouth. Chew the carrot. Suppose you want to have carrot juice. Chew the carrot suck the juice, remove the fiber. Masticate the carrot in your mouth, suck the juice and remove the fiber. So mouth juicing. There are some fruits like pomegranate. You can eat the fruit, chew the seed, suck the rind part, suck the kernel milk, spit out the rind part. So that is the way we are supposed to eat. Or if you don't want that seed kernel, then yeah, some seeds we can't even chew it. Some seeds are very tender. Those seed kernels we can eat. But the rind, which is very hard, we need not trouble ourselves to chew those hard seeds. We can spit out, not a problem. So like that, other method is grate your vegetable, put in the stone grinder, squeeze in a cloth. That way you can make a cold press juice. If you have a fruit like pineapple, you can just cut pineapple in half or 4 pieces. Take a cloth and squeeze with your hands, squeeze with your fingers. Even pomegranate juice, you can just cut half and squeeze with your fingers. You can make the juice. Now, utensils. So we have been using knife. So metal knife is also a problem. So metal will react. So I wanted to show one demonstration, but because we'll have less time, I can't. So if anyone is conscious in measuring energies, or there is a tool called dowsing tool, like a pendulum, we can measure the energies of a fruit or a vegetable when you cut with the metal knife or with a stone or wooden knife. There will be a lot of energy difference. I can just show in a minute if we have time. So like that, preferably we have to use ceramic knives. Then containers also, we should never use aluminum. Then preferably mud containers or soapstone containers, soapstone cookware. Now, if you ask me, brass or cast iron or any other is metal. So I'm giving first preference is soapstone or mud. Glass also, we need lot of high temperatures to burn the sand and make it into glass. But you have to be careful that it will break. You have to handle it carefully. Mud and stone, they are breakable. So once you are used to it, then it will be comfortable. So then salt, I was telling, salt we are not able to digest because we have poor gut. For that reason, I have discovered, it's again a Ayurvedic formulation called Takrarishta, where salt is being fermented in buttermilk and used as a medicine, like different types of salts, medicinal salts. Not all salts should be consumed as a food. So now I have taken that concept and fermented our regular Himalayan rock salt or unrefined sea salt, non-iodized salts, then fermented it in okra slime or fermented rice starch. Then the microbes in this okra slime or fermented rice or millet starch will break down these salts, and then it will make it bioavailable. So like that, I have formulated one biosalt, and people who are following me in Instagram, they may already, I have been posting the experiences of many. Because of this biosalt, actually many people are getting benefited. Now, how these all things are benefiting, I'll just tell. And lastly is oil. We are using cold press oil. Many people might be aware of cold press oils nowadays because refined oils are not safe. So I'm not telling the hard and harmful effects of refined oil now. But even in cold press oil, what's the purpose? What's the point of heating the cold press oil? You are buying the cold press oil, spending a lot of money, but again, you are heating back the cold press oil. So when you heat the oil, it will lose its nutritive values. Beyond 50 degrees, if you heat, it will lose the nutritive values. And beyond its smoke point, it will turn carcinogenic. It will release free radicals in it, and it will turn carcinogenic. So there is no point of you to heat the oil. So never heat the oil beyond 50 degrees. Now how to put tadka and all? You can make dry tadka without oil. Now how to include fats? We need fats for our body. If you are eating cooked food, we need fat, we need salt. All of these we require. But there is a way. Now to include healthy fats, instead of you spending 3 times more of these cold press oils, take coconut paste, sesame paste, peanut paste, that will add your healthy fats in your food. But again, if it is sesame or peanuts, you have to soak and remove the anti-nutrients and then make the paste. Now, if you cook it only, then it will be suitable. If you're not cooking, again, peanuts and sesame cannot be consumed raw. So if you don't want to use cooking, then you can sun roast. So can eliminate the anti-nutrients and shade dry and sun dry, and grind on the stone and make nut butters that you can preserve for years. I have my nut butters preserved since 5 years outside the refrigerator without spoil. There is no smell, no rancid smell. It is having that fresh aroma of that seed. So like that, you can include nut butters. And if you're using cold press oil, I recommend you to add in the last. You can't just eat cold press oil raw. It will not digest because it will have anti-nutrients. So cold press oil can be added in the last when you are switching off your stove. So there are many oil-free recipes you can look into. The lastly is dairy. So unfortunately, now many people may say even our forefathers were eating dairy products, and even Ayurveda mentioned about dairy products. But unfortunately, we are not practicing all these ethical practices which they have practiced. First of all, they used to practice ethical practice. They never tied their calf. They were leaving the calf, allowing to have their own share, full share. Now, apart from these, milk will have certain animal hormones suitable for their children. Even in human beings, if there is a male child, hormones will be different. If it's a female child, hormones will be different. So similarly, animal hormones will be different. So it will be suitable for their calf. So when we are consuming that milk, it will cause some problem. So these are all toxins, like whatever wrong things which we are discussing are all toxins in our body, which are not being eliminated because we are not giving time, and they are getting accumulated inside and causing some disease. So now we are not going into details, but traditionally they used to boil milk for 6 to 8 hours on a low flame. And they were not consuming milk. They used to curdle it, churn it, make the butter and ghee before sunrise. And they used to follow all the norms. So cattle were grazing openly, not interfered. They were not tied. Those all practices were there. So we are not following that. So these are the mistakes. And water, RO water. So this is RO water, bottled water. So I want to show some energy level of this water. The moment I bring this pendulum, if you see, it is rotating anti-clockwise. Okay. So this one is naturally filtered water. For details, you can see my Instagram or YouTube. So it is rotating clockwise. And see the vibration of that rotation, like it is rotating very fast and bigger circle. So this is more potent water. So how to make this water? Basically, water is very important. We are made up of 70% is water only. So we have to hydrate ourselves. All the cooked food basically dehydrates us. So when you are having any fruit, it is hydrated. There is 70% of hydration is there in any fruit. So when you are completely on fruit diet, you don't feel like to drink more water unless and until you utilize your throat for a long time to talk. Otherwise, for your cellular hydration, fruit is enough. So this is a very simple purification method. Please stop RO water. Even if it is bore water, there are natural purification systems which you can reach me or see my post. That would be better. Now, what's happening with the disease? Now, when these toxins are not eliminated, like body tries to eliminate these toxins through cold, cough, maybe some irritable bowels or diarrhea. Okay, these are the first basic steps for the body, like first channels for the body to eliminate. Now, what we will do, we'll take some medication to stop our cold, cough, fever. Then what's happening? We are managing the symptom. Definitely cold will disappear, cough will disappear, fever will disappear. But the purpose of the body for triggering this situation is not solved. The toxins will remain inside. Now, again, the body will trigger back. And every seasonal change, we get viral fevers. That is quite natural for the body to do master cleansing program. Virus is not bad. If you understand the microbial system, pathogens are not bad. Knife is not bad. So knife is there to cut a vegetable or kill a person. So it depends on, or to save a person by when you are operating a person as a doctor. So a material is not good or bad. How you are utilizing, where it is used, at what, with what intention you are using. A thorny bush will be acting as a fence in the boundary. It will act like a fence, but the same thorny bush in your garden, it will prickle you. So relative placement. Now a cockroach, a pig, these all species are designed by the nature to do something. Now similarly, pathogenic bacteria are also designed by the nature to balance an ecosystem, to do some balance in the nature. Now we treat them as very harmful things, but they have a role to play. I correlate these pathogens as Rakshasas and other beneficial microbes as Devatas or the divine beings. So now, if you see, pathogens, Rakshasas also are there to balance. So pathogenic bacteria, when suppose I correlate the pathogens as JCB. So if you have a JCB system to dig your soil, to make a trench, if you have to do individually, it will take maybe 10 days. But if you have a machine like JCB, you can do that job within 1 hour. So it is a massive structure which will have more strength and more capabilities. Okay. So now pathogens in the microcosm, in the microscopic layer, so they have certain capabilities which our white blood cells will not have. Why pathogens have been triggered when white blood cells have a role to play? Because we are not giving time for the body to do its work. How? Like suppose you are cleaning up your house, some old friend of you will come to meet you. Okay. So now, will you attend him or you keep on cleaning your house? You will attend him, right? So that day you'll spend time with him and you'll not have time to clean. And next day you have to go to office. So for that reason, you will just collect all the things and you will dump at one place. Again, next week, you thought of cleaning, but some other situation happened. So like that, all these things have been accumulating. So now, similar thing is happening here inside the body. When the body is trying to clean, we are giving some other inputs to do some process. So the body is giving priority for digestion, assimilation, rather than elimination. So even if you are eating wrong foods, though we are meant to eat fruits, many people have chosen non-vegetarian food or dairy or even cooked food. So still body is accepting, but it will take that much effort for it to digest, depending on how much potency your digestive system is. So now if you are eating certain foods, there is a theory called terrain theory. So whatever environment you are creating, such microbes will come and take a role. Like suppose if you see a child, if you feed him with rice, he will not accept. First time, when you start feeding him with rice, he will spit. But if you give a fruit, he will accept after mother's milk. Even if you give any other cattle milk, they will not accept. Slowly, we will make them adapt to it, or we will force them. They will keep on spitting. We will try to introduce. Then slowly, when he introduces into his system, there will be a lot of microbial change inside the gut. So now these microbes will flourish. So now they will keep on asking such food. So we are creating an environment system. So such whatever food we are eating or whatever lifestyle or thought process we are, such microbes will stay, because we are not just this body. We are made up of trillions of microorganisms. So whatever you are keeping your windows open for, such microbes only will come. So if you are having good thought, very balanced, very pious lifestyle, such good microbes will come. If you are not facilitating yourself for that, even in food, so such microbes will come. So definitely they will have their thought process, which will override in our system. So now even cancer is not actually a disease. Every disease is body's detoxification process at various levels. Definitely it is painful. It's not like it will not be painful. So cancer is when we are stopping all these process initially, which the body is trying to purge out. then all these toxins are accumulated at one place. At least body will think that organ should not get damaged. I will accumulate these toxins and form a tumor. That's how the tumor will start. It may be benign or malignant. That is the next thing. But that's how cancer starts. Now, even viral fevers, we have a different theories. Now, virus is a bacteria or microorganisms. We don't know. We have some research. But in my understanding, virus is like a program, like how we have a computer virus. Like that, virus is like a program which the body is generating to undergo some detoxification process in the body. So when we are stopping it, again, it will have its variants. Like how we have a computer virus, like that human virus also, it will have its variants. Now, the ultimate purpose of the body is to push the toxins out. So it will try all its means. Either pathogenic bacteria will override to clean the toxins. In the first place, our white blood cells, macrophages, lymphocytes, there are many helper cells which will help to cleanse the toxins. So the output of this phlegm and sweat and all are just toxic residues. So at this is the first place. The second place is pathogens will override, infections will happen, fever will come. So even if you are stopping that by taking antibiotics, next it will lead to some arthritis because toxins have been accumulated, or it may cause some tumor, or it may lead to some viral fever, or it may lead to some autoimmune disorders. So now autoimmune disorder, all this while, maybe a person who is leading his life till 30 years or 40 years. So all this while, we have been giving that body food which is very complex, and the body was compromising and building its blocks. Now, at one point of time, body will stop. Like it will sense like further it will damage more. I have to break now. I have to break myself. That's how all these wrong inputs, like building we have constructed, we have plastered, but inside material is weak. So it will collapse. Like that, autoimmune disorders, why our own system will fight with our own system. So it's all those toxic inputs which have been accumulating in every dhatu. So now to reverse any disease, start eating right, living right, thinking right, allow the toxins to detox, but in a slow way. We can't just take that detoxification all at once. So gradually introduce a right food habits, right lifestyle, then slowly allow the toxins to come out, not stopping, interfering in its natural mechanism. Then it will be overcome. Now, lastly, I want to talk about pH balance. There is a system called homeostasis in the body. So pH is regulated. Always when the blood turns acidic, the body system, there is some regulation system where the body tries to make it alkaline. So the blood turns acidic even because of emotion suppressions, toxic food, or junk foods, preserved foods, refrigerated foods, overcooked food, when you're not giving lively food. So because of water, because of sleep, no sleep, for all these reasons, blood turns acidic. So body seeks for minerals to buffer. So when you're not supplying with these fruits and vegetables or water from the nature or sun, then it will take the reserves from the bones. So now there is a depletion in the joints, especially from the joints. So slowly when there is a depletion, so later on there are toxins which gets accumulated in the joints or wherever it gets absorbed. There will be inflammation, infection, arthritis, osteoporosis. These are all related to pH balance. Now, when you are giving right minerals, it may be through biosalt or including raw food, including this natural filtered water or connecting to soil nature, then the body will have some buffers where it will not take those from the bones. It will take from the inputs which we are giving. Then you can override all the autoimmune disorder problems or arthritis or anything which is related to mineral imbalance. It may be thyroid or hormonal imbalance. These all are because of mineral imbalances. So we have to maintain that pH system. So pH system can be maintained well by giving pranic foods, lively foods. So raw foods, seasonal, local, properly ripened, natural water, sunrise, air, and also community. So you have to give self-time and family time and community time. That is very important. So because we don't give time for the family and self and community, there will be a lot of disturbances in our space, and that leads to further relationship breakdown, and that leads to stress and some health issue. So this is also a very important factor for us to note down. So like that, the subject is very deep, but though it is very simple in itself, if you understand. So this is just to introduce you about these things can cause health issues, but animals in the wild are happy, though they have their predator and prey, but at least in their community, they are happily living, eating naturally, living naturally, following their instincts. But we humans, we have been gifted with that free will. From the time we started misusing that freedom, we started getting all these health issues. So we have to live our life right, in tune with the nature, harmony, and first overcome your weak points. Yeah, it's not that easy to directly switch into natural system, but take steps one at a time, and then it will be easy for us to gain a better health and be in harmony with the nature. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. This now we'll just take a few questions. If anyone has any questions, you can just unmute yourself and ask the question, or you can put it in the chat box. We can take it from there. Anyone have any questions?
Yeah. Can we consume seeds for irregular periods? What can we do for irregular periods and that sort of things?
Yeah. So basically, for any health issue, the root causes are two: toxic accumulation and nourishment, improper nourishment. So now we need mineral balance, so which we can get from fruits and vegetables. So when you include raw foods in your diet, whenever you include raw food, see that you don't mix with your cooked food. There are some categories which you can mix with your cooked food. Then give time for meditation, emotional balance also. That also will help to balance your irregular periods. So yes, nuts can be consumed, but because of anti-nutrients, you have to soak them, remove the skin, and then consume it. There are some seeds which you can consume, like because they are seed kernels. So you can soak them and then consume it. Or better is shade dry, sun roast, or you can have like a snack or make nut butter and have like a spread.
Sir, I'll just ask one related question from the comments. Should we always cook sprouts?
Yes. So if you don't want to cook sprouts and take the benefits of this sprout, I recommend to chew well like a cow, like how much time the cow will take to chew its food. Like that, the sprouts should become completely a paste, which no one will do. No one will have time. So at least what you can do, chew the sprouts, suck the juice and remove the fiber. If you have time, chew it thoroughly and swallow it, nothing will happen. Or just steam the sprouts and eat.
Okay, we'll take one more question from the comments, and then you can ask another question live.
Yeah.
How do we know what's the difference between how do we differentiate between natural fruits and GMO fruits?
Okay, so it's very difficult. Actually, we talk about a lot of genetically modified. I don't know really, but nature has designed a seed. We ourselves are changing its genetic structure. Have we succeeded in it or not? Still, it's a question mark. But seed, which is designed by the nature, we can't actually break down its gene. So we can't actually induce any other species into it. So it's still a question mark for me also. So there are people who are saving the native seeds. So try to get the seeds from them. And unfortunately in India, fortunately in India, still we are thinking that we don't have this genetically modified food. But no, already many have entered.
Okay. Anyone have any more questions? Please, you can unmute yourself and ask. Otherwise, I can take questions from the comments. Anyone have any questions you want to ask right now? Okay. If you have any questions, you can ask in the comment box. Okay, I'll just take one more question that came earlier. What food patterns are suggested for kids? And how to preserve food? There's two questions. How to preserve food without refrigerator?
So basically for kids, fruits are the best. So, but you have to be very caution of selecting a ripe fruit. It may be any seasonal fruit. Don't go for unseasonal fruit. That's better. So any seasonal fruit is better. If you want to give cooked food, process your grains. That is very important. So if you want to give ragi porridge, sprout the ragi, then make the flour and then cook it and then make the porridge. Or if the child is infant, like more younger, where he can't digest the fibers. So if he's little bit older, then you can give that fibers. But if he's still an infant, then what I recommend is make the milk of the sprouted ragi, then cook that ragi milk and then give him. That would be better. Or make the sprouted ragi milk, dry that starches well, so you can make that as a Cerelac powder. So similarly, you can make with bajra, jawar and all. Like that, you can cook the grains, process the grains and cook it and give them. And preserving without refrigerator, most of the vegetables you can keep outside the refrigerator, like it may be gourds or tomatoes or potatoes or tubers mostly. So carrots you can keep in grass, or there is a pot in pot refrigerator where you can store any of your vegetables fresh for 10 days or even more. Like that, you can avoid the refrigeration. Greens is a challenge. Greens, you can keep the greens with roots for 2 days. You have to change water. So for 3 days, you can store the greens, not beyond that.
Okay, someone has raised their hand. Ajay, do you want to unmute yourself and ask the question?
Yeah, my question is, can we have mangoes without it affecting our blood sugar? Mangoes, honey.
Yeah, I got your question. So regarding diabetes, why we get diabetes? Like many people have a notion that diabetes is caused from sugars. So sugars, it's not just fruit sugars. Basically, if you are eating undigested, unripe fruit, then yes, definitely it will cause diabetes. But if it is a ripe fruit, it will never cause diabetes. And even in grains, if you separate the starch and cook the rice, it will not cause any diabetes. So definitely, a person who is diabetic can eat any ripe fruit in that season. It will not affect his sugar levels. So I have a patient recently who had 500. So I just asked him to stop grains, having only fruits and vegetables or some cooked vegetables if he requires. So his sugar levels from 500, within 2 days, it came to 120, 180 within a week, from 200 to 120. It's not like it's a miracle. Again, it may shoot up. Any body condition will take at least 1 year to completely reverse if you follow these all practices regularly. It's not like you have reversed your, like if you just see the parameter in the meter and you can't think that you have reversed that diabetes. So it's a gradual process because at the cellular level, we have to bring that change. So yes, you can eat fruits. Honey again is not our food. Basically, it's bees' food. So in Ayurveda, honey has been mentioned. So ethically, if we have to take honey, beehive, like bees will leave the beehive at particular time. So that honey was used as a medicine, but now we need honey daily. So that is not helping us.
Okay. I'll take, okay, a couple of people are raising their hand. Raj Mohan, do you want to unmute yourself and ask a question?
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yeah, namaste.
Yes, please go ahead.
Sir, I'm having dandruff for past 6 years and I'm having lots and lots of hair fall. It's increasing day by day. So is there any cure for that?
Yeah, thanks for raising that question. The other important factor is the chemicals which we are using on the skin. Like if you are putting all these chemicals like shampoo, soaps and other fabric softeners and all. So those all things are penetrating into the skin. That is also a toxin from the external environment. The clothes which we are wearing are all synthetic nowadays, which is not allowing the toxins to come out through the sweat. So we are blocking the skin pores. So Now from where the toxins will enter? If you are blocking all these pores, then it will have one pathway through the hair. So that will cause dandruff. So all the shampoos which we use, it will block the pores in the hair. So the hair root will get weakened. So definitely dandruff will come. So this thing has to be handled internally as well. So when you are avoiding all this junk food and toxic foods, especially dandruff will cause more when you are having more of these anti-nutrients, when you are not processing your grains well. So anti-nutrients will interfere in the nutrition absorption in the body, and when you don't get nourishment, the hair strength will be less. Then there will be a hair fall, and dandruff is again causing, in the process of detoxification, the toxins gets accumulated and there will be some yeast infections.
Okay. Kuldeep, do you want to unmute yourself and ask the question? Kuldeep Jhala. Okay. Gayatri, we can come back to Kuldeep. Gayatri, do you want to unmute yourself and ask the question?
నమస్తే. ఇప్పుడు కెమికల్ వాడుతూ ఉన్నారు కదా, ఇప్పటి వరకు ఈ కెమికల్ వాడుతూ షిఫ్ట్ నేచురల్ గా వాడుతూ ఉంటే నేచురల్ కి షిఫ్ట్ అవ్వడానికి హౌ మచ్ టైమ్ టు టేక్ టు కమ్ టు నార్మల్ పొజిషన్ లోకి రావడానికి, అంటే హెల్దీగా ఉండటానికి? ఇప్పుడు కెమికల్ ని యూజ్ చేస్తూ నేచురల్ గా యూజ్ చేస్తూ ఉంటే యూ ఫేస్డ్ ద మెనీ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్. సో ఎట్లా నార్మల్ లోకి అవ్వడానికి ఎంత టైం పడుతుంది?
Yeah, so the change will happen, like her question was like we have been using all these chemicals all this while. So now if we are shifting to the natural lifestyle, natural food, or without chemicals, if we adopt to natural ingredients, now how much time will it take for us to reverse our health issues or the toxins which have been accumulated? So for this, actually toxins are inevitable. How much ever naturally you are, still we are in that space. So suppose I will ask you to clean a room, completely dust it, mop it, dry it, and seal the room. Completely seal the room. Then come back to that room after 1 day or 1 week. Can you see the dust again? So dust will come again. You can't avoid it. So toxins are inevitable. So toxins are ongoing process. How much ever you don't want, it's a natural mechanism. Like for one food, like for one species food, other species waste. So definitely there will be toxins generated. So when you give time, when you're not introducing more toxins, then it is only a maintenance. So now for her question, definitely it will start, like suppose you have been using chemicals for 30 years. We have been eating chemical food for 30 years. Now when we are shifting to natural lifestyle, so you can see the difference right from day one. You feel good when you eat properly ripe food. Like suppose you eat unripe fruit all this while, you were having some gastric issue. The moment you eat ripe fruit, your body will accept it. So you have overcome the situation of that gastric issue. Like that, the old ones will now cleanse and you are nourishing with the new ones. Gradually, it will take minimum 1 year to see that improvement in the dhatu, in the deeper level. So on the surface, yes, you can see that progress from the day one. So in the deeper levels, every toxins will come out. And then eventually after if you maintain that, after 3 months, you will see very big difference because as I said, dhatu, it will take 40 days for the food to get transformed into prana, depending on the food. So there are people who will directly take the prana from the cosmos. So we have not reached that level. We have to prepare ourselves for that stage. So yes, we have to give time for the body.
Okay, there are a lot of questions. We'll only be able to take 2 or 3 more. Yes, sir, please go ahead.
Yeah, it's Kuldeep here.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, okay. My question is, can rainwater be directly consumed?
Rainwater can be consumed, yes, but because of the pollution in the cities, you can leave the first 2-3 rains then you can start collecting the rainwater. And rainwater you can actually store for years. If you don't allow the sun rays to fall, then algae will not form. Then you have to aerate, keep it aerated. Then you can preserve that rainwater. But if you ask me, rainwater is having 0 TDS. It will have high prana. We need not have any TDS if we are having rainwater. Nature has designed natural springs, ponds, rivers, lakes. That is the next source of water. So water should have life. So basically, when you are aerating your rainwater, storing in the tanks, not allowing the sunlight, so then the life is maintained. Then you can have that rainwater.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so I'll just take another question from the comments. I'll just combine two questions. One is, what vegetables should we consume in salads? Is it okay to consume carrots and beetroot raw? And another question about fruits only is, we're getting watermelon throughout the year. Is it good to have those, and or which months are best to have it? And I think you can generally say this about any fruit. Like mostly we're getting fruits throughout the year, so you can just
So in salads, I don't recommend carrot, beetroot, any root vegetables raw. Even cruciferous vegetables like cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli raw. Like no roots, no cruciferous, and no matured greens. Like even if you have to have greens like lettuce, it should be tender greens. It should not turn bitter. And yes, you can include microgreens which are not bitter. So if at all you have to happen, like it happened for you to eat carrot in your salad, like you have been somewhere and you have been offered carrot, then the best thing what you can do is, while chewing, be conscious, chew it and remove that fiber. So if you're conscious enough, automatically body will tell you what to eat, what not to eat. There'll be certain fibers which will stop in your mouth. You can't just swallow it. So be conscious in your eating, then your body will actually tell you. But because we have been conditioned and we have lose that instincts, so we have to again unlearn and relearn these all things. And coming to fruits, yes, watermelon and many other fruits are coming throughout the year, unfortunately. Like mostly melons are hydrating fruits which will come before summers. So that is the right time. So there is one more time when the watermelons can come, like that can be the first harvest. When you are sowing the seeds in September, you will get watermelon in December, like post winters, post winters also you can get the watermelons. So ideally it's basically pre-summer fruit. Like any fruit, one indication, even if you are not eating seasonal fruit, see that it is properly ripened at least. That is very important.
Okay, I think we can just take last two questions. One I'll take from the comments, one we'll take from the viewers. Swati, do you want to unmute yourself and ask the question?
Yes, sir.
Please.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Yeah.
Actually, I haven't. Actually, from 16 years itself, I have a lot of hair fall, and now I'm undergoing baldness thing. For past 12 years, I'm having this problem, and now I started adopting lot of natural techniques and methods and all, and I have a lot of difference in my body changes. In my body, I have a lot of changes, but while considering my hair fall, it has become lot, and it's causing even more. And it is causing a lot of dandruff problems, and also it is becoming more and more. I mean, the hair fall is becoming more and more, lot and lot. So whether I can reverse it or not, that is my question, sir.
So don't worry about your hair fall. Hair fall is quite common whenever you are undergoing a natural methods. Like in natural methods, I hope you are not using any shampoos now. And even in food, if you are adopting to the fruits and cooking methods, not allowing the anti-nutrients to accumulate in our body, which will allow the nourishment to happen well, then yes, your hair growth will again restructure. It will improve your hair growth. But when there is hair fall, you need not worry, allow it to happen. And emotionally also, you have to be, mostly women have concern with hair fall, I can understand. But hair fall is also one phase in the detoxification process. So maybe you might have not heard about like what all you are following. I'm not aware, but fruit selection and cooking methods are very important. You have to also include these things.
Okay, just the last question we'll take, and if you have any more questions, you can can you just tell your Instagram account? It's Shailendra_SGA, right?
Yes, yes.
So I'll just post that in the chat box. You can contact him directly and you can ask the questions there. But for today, we can only take one more question. Alka, do you want to just unmute yourself and ask the question?
Yeah. I want to ask you, the cholesterol is high. Why does it go high and how can I reduce it? Cholesterol.
Yeah. So basically, the kapha tattva, like vata, pitta, kapha tattva in the body are there to balance regulations. So vata we need to motility, like for motility and movement of food or whatever toxins, we need vata. Similarly, kapha to hold the toxins and to eliminate again, kapha will be helping, and pitta to metabolism, and again it will take the role to digest. So now the cholesterol increases due to various reasons. Again, if we are having wrong fats or if we are not having fats, there are two reasons. So if you are using refined oils, though oil will not have any cholesterol, but because the oils are very complex and they are not being digested well, they have been accumulated, liver will create cholesterol. So normally cholesterol will not come in any plant-based products. They'll be triglycerides. So only when we are having animal products or dairy, it will have cholesterol. But in our body, whatever fats you are taking, if they are not being digested, then when they are starting accumulating, then liver will create cholesterol actually to protect. That is also a protective mechanism. So that will clog. Unfortunately, that will clog, and it may cause increasing blood pressure. And when we are stopping the blood pressure, that cholesterol will be accumulating and form fatty liver. So like that, there will be many other related problems. So now the best way to reverse the cholesterol is having healthy fats, including more lively foods in your diet. There are some ways to cleanse. But again, if you are not following the healthy practices, if you just follow the cleansing therapies, again, the cholesterol will come, again, the fatty liver will come, again, the gallbladder stones or liver stones will come. So the best way to reverse any health issue is to have right food. It may be fruit or following the cooking methods. These all things are very important. Then you can reverse even cholesterol issues.
Okay. Thank you everyone for joining. Unfortunately, we are out of time. We won't be able to take any more questions. I have shared Sir's Instagram account in the chat box. So if you want, you can click that link and follow him on Instagram and ask any questions that you want. Just before we sign off, one last thing I wanted to tell you was about Farmizen. And Farmizen is an online marketplace where we work directly with natural and organic farmers. And any produce that you buy is listed directly by the farmers and is mostly harvested only after the order is placed if you do pre-orders. And we also have express store where you can get freshly harvested produce the next day. So if you please do check out Farmizen, www.farmizen.com. You can see all the details. And thank you all for joining. Thank you, sir. Thank you for hosting this session. If there's anything you'd like to say before we close. Any if you want to talk about any website, if you have any courses or anything that you want to plug, please.
Yeah, basically I keep traveling. I prefer mostly physical sessions than online because I feel very difficult to talk in air, but in personal interactions, it will be very comfortable. So for that reason only, I keep traveling around India at different places, and I do organize some sessions, or people who organize, they will invite me. So physical sessions are more fruitful. They may be you'll see many practical things also. Because of this COVID situation, we started online, and I'm also trying to adopt online. So yes, I've been doing online sessions on like how to select the fruits and biosalt, or I do yearly 3-4 times the whole is like complete 21 days online session or weekend session, 1 month weekend sessions like that as well. So you can just keep following my Instagram where I'll be updating my course details. I don't have a website and all, but only on Instagram or YouTube I have some videos. So most of my content I have shared. You can just follow me or reach me. It will and YouTube there are some set of videos where I have talked little in detail. Then you can understand more.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining in. Hopefully we can do this session in person next time.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.